Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chris here. Yeah, I'm going to introduce a podcast just like I introduce my YouTube videos because you know what? This is something different. This is something new, but I'm trying to keep it with an air of familiarity, right? Well, if you guys didn't know, I actually post a podcast on YouTube and on Spotify. Granted, the last episode, episode 9, was a year ago. And mostly that's just because I can never get many consistent guests. And I don't want the podcast to basically just be me and Dylan the whole time, because that's usually who it is. It's usually a team of, well, it's always a team of me, Dylan, and then somebody else, whether that be our brother Jake, whether that be one of my friends, or just me and Dylan sometime. But, like, I'm always trying to get people together to do a podcast, but it's always the discussion of what are we going to talk about, what's going on in our lives, when can we get everyone together, who are we going to get. And I just, you know what? I'm going to do a solo podcast. I had this idea like a month ago. God, time has just been so weird. This is going to be a lot with the podcast. Is, by the way, is me just tangentially breaking off into little non sequiturs and losing track of my brain, because this is the raw, unfiltered my brain, and it's going to be very confusing. The whole point of me doing this right now is, like, I decided I want to do a solo podcast where if anybody watches my YouTube channel, which is my gaming YouTube channel, or my gaming and vlog social life, my main YouTube channel, which is Linkins Legion. If anybody watches that, then you guys know I post my weekly or bi-weekly vlog videos where I give you guys an update on what's going on in my life. And I also post daily life content, which is basically just a bunch of clips and content taken from my phone that I've recorded over a small period of time. And this is basically combining that, where I don't really, it's not like I have a clips or anything like that for you guys, but it'll just be a combination of, like, what am I doing in my life? What's going on? What's happening with, and pretty much, like, not even being filtered. Like, obviously, if I'm telling stories about people who I don't think I should mention their names, I'm gonna exclude their names. But I'm gonna be telling, like, personal life stories and stuff that's going on right now. Like, dogs, I just got laid like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Hell yeah, that's pretty sweet. And like stuff like that, I'm just gonna, like, getting into my life and really just kind of opening up a vein and talking, just freely talking. And yeah, I don't know. I just decided that I can't get people together all the time for podcasts. It's the same thing with Airsoft. I'm always bitching and complaining about Airsoft not getting people together. And the same thing for the podcast, which is just me trying to be the one that organizes everything, and therefore it never gets organized because I don't know. I feel like I'm always inconveniencing people. So here's me doing it myself, and I don't know what to name this podcast. Honestly, this is episode 1 for this podcast, though I think I'm gonna upload it on the same feed as Nihility, which through Anchor. I believe I still upload stuff through Anchor, and I'll still upload it on YouTube, but the series will be a different name. I don't know what I'm going to name it. I debated on calling it just Daily Life, because I'm talking about my daily life. I try to keep notes, and kind of like I try to keep notes for my therapist, but I'm terrible at keeping notes for my therapist. I think I'll remember. I'm not going to remember, dude. My therapy appointments are bi-weekly. I'm not going to fucking remember. And so I think I'm going to try to write stuff down for the podcast, and I have a couple of things on mine, but I'm going to try to keep this introductory podcast a little bit shorter, probably about 30 or so minutes, but who knows, they could probably get upwards to 40 minutes to an hour. Yeah, so this is just basically going to be me talking about what's going on in my life right now, and kind of taking the place of those weekly slash bi-weekly vlog videos, because I will be updating you guys in general here while also going into detail about what's going on in my life. All right, so we're gonna cut to the chase and just get right to what's going on in my life. And you know what? Today is Saturday, turning Sunday, 'cause it's 11:26 p.m. Like I said, and I work tomorrow. I worked today, and I work tomorrow. And tomorrow it's Sunday, and Sundays are always kind of lame at my job. For those of you who don't know, I work in a kitchen at a care facility, and there's really not a whole lot that goes on there. It's not like my previous cooking job where you deal with customers and whatever have you. There's really no randomness besides people messing things up, but even that's not entirely my job to take care of. So Sundays are usually pretty easy, though it always seems like Sunday, which is always followed by Monday, as you know, and that's always my day off. I always have Mondays off, and I will explain that in a second. But so it always seems like the day before I have a day off at this job, everything just goes wrong and shit goes slow. Like, there's not enough LNAs on the 3rd floor, so stuff gets cleaned up really slow, and it always seems like I get out really late on a Sunday, or just some kind of bullshit. But so the reasons why I've always had Mondays off is at my previous cook job that I worked at for like 10 years, the restaurant was always closed on Mondays. It was closed in the afternoon for Sundays, so they were only open for breakfast on Sundays, and Mondays were always closed. So I've just always had Mondays off for like the 10 years that I worked there. So every job that I went to, when I moved to Michigan with my ex, when I moved out there and I worked at Dollar General. By the way, fucking horrible. I should tell some Dollar General stories too. Um, Man, I need to just like write stuff down so I don't lose because I will lose my train of thought. I will branch off and completely divert into something totally different. And that's going to be the fun of this podcast. Anyway, so I've always requested to have Mondays off because I'm always used to it. I can always plan for Mondays. So Dollar General, then when I got fired from Dollar General and then got a job at Applebee's where Sam worked, I still always requested Mondays off. And we both tried to request Mondays off so we'd have that day together. And generally that worked out. We pretty much always had Mondays off unless she decided to fill in. And then at this job, I'm like, hey, yeah, cool, new job, not working Mondays, home slice. And then I did like a gang sign or something, and he went, what? And then I walked away and started my job, put on the hat, went to work. So I've just always had Mondays off, and the problem with that is like I've tried to again organize airsoft games or something, and cool, Mondays off. Dylan has Mondays off too. Oh no, school. Jake is in school on Mondays, so we can't really plan for that. Or Monday is a holiday, so things get kind of ruined because it's fucking I don't know, it's Labor Day or Memorial Day or something like that, or some holiday falls on a Monday and ruins things. So Monday, and also around where I live, Mondays things close earlier because for some reason nobody's around on Mondays. I don't know what it is, but Sundays and Mondays nobody's around. So like especially in the winter time when shit's already really slow, businesses that closed at 7 now close at 5 and it gets dark at 4:30 late into the winter. So like the sun goes down at 4:30 and everything closes at 5 and you're just stuck in your house like I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's not even 8 p.m." and it's just an absolute misery. So, but anyway, yeah, so Mondays I've always had off, and I'm expecting it to be real busy. Not busy, I'm expecting it to have some bullshit tomorrow because I don't work Monday. But as far as what I have planned for this Monday, I'm not entirely sure. We've had a lot of rainy, cloudy weather. Like we had a heat storm like 2 weeks ago, like the first sign of summer, right? And the temperature went from 60 degrees to 88 degrees over the span of like, well, it went from like one day to the next day, it was like 88 degrees. And then over the next 4 days or so, it was just blisteringly hot and disgusting. And then it dropped, it plummeted straight down to like 50, 60 degrees. Now we've just had clouds and rain. And I was going to do a yard sale last week or the week before last week, I think, whatever. But instead I chose to get laid because I decided to message somebody. I'm trying to be more confident in myself, right? I'm trying to like, I'm just a hermit. I'm just go to work and I go home and I don't have any social life. So I decided, here's somebody that I know, somebody that I can trust. And I'm going to send them a message and I'm just going to be like, hey, are you into these kinds of things? Or hook up something that you're okay with, interested in, or anything like that. And if so, finger guns. What about me? And to my surprise, she's like, yeah, cool. So I went, oh my God, cool, and set all that up. I'm not going to get into gruesome, dirty, filthy details, but that took the place of me doing a yard sale. I've been trying to gather stuff for a yard sale for the past couple weeks. Like I have my own stuff to put out there, and it would be like $1 to $10 type sale. It wouldn't be. I'm not going to go out there and like eBay reselling kind of thing. But I have enough stuff to populate a table or two. But I'm like, man, if I sell my stuff quickly, because I have some decent stuff I think might sell if a couple people around my age or within 10 years of my age would come around and see, I feel like they would buy. So I'm like, man, if I run out of stuff real quick, I'm gonna have to pack in the yard sale. Like, I don't want to do that. You know, you want to go to a yard sale and you want to rummage, you want to dig through stuff and see what kind of gold you can find. And I want people to do that in my yard sale, but I don't personally have enough stuff for that. So I'm like, hey mom, what do you have to put out in a yard sale? She goes, I'm busy, and she's working, her and my dad working, like that they clean houses for like rental properties and stuff, and man, they're cleaning like 3 to 5 houses a day, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, they're making the money, but man, they're getting old. Like, my dad's 60, my mom is 50, like generalizing, they're around that age range, couple years, and they're still doing that many houses a day. It's like, that's fucking ridiculous, especially with oh, just general health issues and whatever have you. But so she never had time to dig through and see what they could find. I'm like, man, if you got tools, if you've got clothes, if you got knickknacks, if you have decorations, if you have like a painting or something, or literally like a fucking iPhone charger cable, I don't know, literally anything. Like it's a yard sale. Put anything on the table and someone might buy it. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to fill out the yard sale and I'm asking everybody and like nobody's cooperating with me. And I always have to sit there and like over and over and over, just put pressure on everybody. Like, hey, reminder, hey, reminder, hey, reminder, and just, ugh. So anyway, my mom finally got some stuff for me for yard sale. And now it's just kind of sitting on a table because we haven't had a nice day where I can actually do a yard sale. My days off this coming week are Monday and Thursday. And I could do a yard sale on Thursday, but who the fuck wants to go to a yard sale on Thursday? Everyone's at work, everyone has school, everyone's busy. So, and I think the weather is supposed to be cold and kind of rainy or just generally dismal. And that's fine with me. I'll sit out there all day. Let's see. Tomorrow's like 80 degrees and kind of cloudy. Monday's raining, and my day off Thursday is actually 75 degrees with some clouds. So maybe I can do it on Thursday. I don't know. I'll have to try to plan that. But again, it'll just kind of be me sitting out there doing it. Anyway, so yeah, yard sale stuff. I'm trying to do that because man, I did a yard sale once when I was living in Michigan, and it was fun because we were like right on the road. You know, it was a main kind of like mini highway pass through kind of road. So like at 2 and 3 a.m. you'd have 18-wheelers fly by, but you'd also have residents who were living in the houses near you just going for walks on the sidewalk and stuff. So pretty public street, kind of a pass through street to get to the main street area where all like the 3-story buildings the businesses are and stuff. But we had the porch, so it was directly on the road, and I set up a yard sale there. Man, I had such a good time with that. Just kind of sitting there, and people walk by and be like, "Oh, hey, look, a yard sale." I'm like, "Hello." I just have my fucking guttural music playing. They're like, "Well, this is kind of gross, but also, what's that cool thing there?" And I fucking sold an elliptical bike, whatever, stationary pedaling bike. I sold one of those exercise bikes. I sold a couple paintings. I sold a book of mine. Um, I sold a whole bunch of stuff, and it was just really fun in general. I just like people walking around asking questions about the stuff, and you're like, yeah, all right, $4, sick, here we go. Okay, so actually, this is one thing I wanted to mention. We have at my place, we have a long driveway, and part way up the driveway, there's like a half circle turnaround point that kind of loops around a tree. Okay, and in that turnaround point, there is like a little shed thing, and then there's like 3 shed things actually, technically, and one of the sheds is where you would store like the lawnmower, the riding mower that my grandmother had that doesn't work. It's just sitting in the yard getting rained on. But I decided, since where we live, we have to bring all of our trash to the dump. We don't pay for a dumpster, and there's no like local pickup for anything like that, especially around here because of what I'm about to get to, which is bear problems. So around here, we have to bring it to the dump. And I'm not going to the dump once a week or once every other week or anything like that. Like, I want to go to the dump as least amount as possible because it's a 10-minute drive, which is not that far, but it's a 10-minute drive out of my way on my day off, and I gotta like load up stinky trash into my car because my car is the one that has the dump sticker. If any of you don't know, you have to pay for a dump sticker to go, and that only that car can go to the dump because it has a sticker, right? You're paying for a permit to go to the dump to bring your trash somewhere. So I have to bring it there. My car's stinky and gross, and it's out of my way. And it's just like a whole thing. It takes like 40 minutes out of my day. It's kind of annoying. So I don't want to go every single week and also have to waste gas. And I just also hate driving. So I'm trying to find solutions on how to hold on to the trash without it actually being a problem. Because what we would do before was we would put the trash down in the basement. And then when I went to go to the dump, I would collect the trash from the basement, put it in my car, and go. But the problem is with it being down there is you would have sometimes like 2 or 3 week old trash that's just kind of sitting down there, and it would start to stink. You would smell it through the floor. And then like in the summertime, especially, you'd start to get gnats, flies would spawn. You'd be like, oh man, we got some fucking maggots that spawn in that bag because there was some chicken in there I didn't realize or whatever. And it would just always be such a headache, and it would always just be a giant pain in the ass. And that's my chore. Dylan does dishes and stuff, and Nin and Dylan both generally try to clean up after themselves when I hound them about it. And I take care of the trash and I clean up other stuff. So the trash is my responsibility. I just don't always want to go to the fucking dump. So I'm trying to always find out some type of a solution. And sorry, I am adjusting my volume so the volume changes. That's why. So then we have this like box outside that's on the porch. And my grandmother had to hold firewood. I'm like, all right, I will load up that box. It's just a wooden box with like a top flip over lid, and we'll put the trash in there. When that gets full, then I'll take it out. Well, guess what? Trash outside alerts and lures in the crows, maybe a raccoon, and maybe a porcupine. I saw a porcupine. No, sorry, it was a skunk. There was a skunk on the porch once trying to get into the trash. But lo and behold, it obviously attracts black bears. And black bears are pretty afraid of people, but they want your trash really bad. They go after that shit like crazy. So we put it out there, and actually, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever, we heard a big slam, and the bear fucking just ripped it off the house and dragged the whole box off the side of the porch and just scattered the trash. So we had to deal with that. So I go, okay, that's not going to work. I can't handle that kind of shit. So I'm going to take advantage of the shed down in the turnaround, which is pretty big. It's probably, I don't know, 8x6, I think. 8x6, and then probably 10 feet tall, something like that. So it's decently sized. Again, it's for tools, for mowers, for equipment, and stuff like that. Spare tires or whatever have you. So I get this, well, first off, actually, before I do that, I buy this plastic, like, gardening tool box thing that has a lock on it, and I build that thing, put it together. It's kind of like the wooden box that I had, but a little bit sturdier, so I thought, and had a lock, so hopefully the bear couldn't get into it. And so I put that outside, and I loaded that up with the trash, but the bear still ripped it apart. He tore the thing to pieces. Luckily, it just basically disassembled it, but he did kind of crunch it and whatever, dragged it away, made a huge mess. So I had to deal with that again. So I take the actual plastic box, and I put it down in the shed. And by the way, if I have any pictures, anything like that, I will try to put this in some form of a link dump down below. I will figure it out. There will be some type of links for you guys to see any kind of pictures I took that are relating to stories that I tell. So I put it down there, and I put the box inside the shed, and I do this whole thing, right, where I put the box in there. It has a carabiner lock for the top of that, and that has a double doors that close. I had to reassemble the doors because they're kind of rotted and old, so I got that all situated, and I got the padlock, not even a padlock, it was actually a gun lock that hooked it in there, and I screwed in a thin piece of wood that acted as a swivel bar to hold the doors even tighter and close, and it was like, all right, this is working. And it did work. It kept the trash safe for all of a month until the day before I was going to take it all to the dump. Motherfucking bear tears the fucking doors off, basically, gets inside there, rips the trash bin to pieces, scatters trash everywhere, drags it in the woods, and I drive to work, and there will be a picture associated with this. I only took one picture of it, but I'm about to, not even drive to work, I was getting up in the morning to go get like a drink and something to eat from the store, and I just see trash fucking everywhere. I look by and I'm like, I hope to fuck I didn't actually just see that and I'm hallucinating or something. Lo and behold, I pull back in the driveway and there's just a massive mess for me. So I go, okay, well, I'm not writing today. I am fuming. I want to scream and rip all of my fingernails off one by one. But I'm going to clean this up. So I spent 40 minutes cleaning up all the trash, getting it all into new bags and whatever, loaded up into my car, and just went to the dump and took care of it. And I had to figure out a new plan. So I'm still going to use a shed. I'm still going to put the trash in there. But what I ended up doing was I got like these brackets that'll go on either side of the door with a piece of wood or something else. I might get something else that goes in over the brackets that gets held by them. Think about it like a medieval door with like a big bar that goes across, kind of like that, whatever you want to call that, to hold the doors closed and keep it secure so the bear can't get in. I got that. I got ammonia because bears do not like the smell of ammonia, and it'll help mask any trash scent that sits out there long enough. I'm going to try to go to the dump more often, even though, like I already explained, it's a huge pain in the ass. And I got these two alarms that my old boss actually got for the restaurant's dumpster, which are motion censored. And they flash and they make like dog barking sounds. They make gunshot sounds if something gets near. So that should keep the bear away. There's two of them. And if he gets close to the doors, it'll go off, scare him away, and hopefully keep him the fuck away. It's been a whole thing, dude. I've been like racking my brain trying to figure out what to do about this whole. I don't want to keep my trash in the basement. I'm not going to keep it on the porch. And the shed's the best option, but I had to figure that out. So that's where I'm at right now. And honestly, I just got those motion sensors installed this morning, and there's no trash in there right now. So once we start bringing some trash in there, I'm gonna let the trash sit in there for like a week and see if anything happens. And I'm like, man, if he fucking gets in there, I'm just gonna grab my 308, get on top of the roof, wait for him to show up, and execute that motherfucker. I don't want to hurt the bear. I would not hurt the bear, but it's such a gigantic mondo tubular pain in my ass, bruh. Yeah, I just said that. So yeah, that's been the bear situation, and man, I'm just crossing my fingers for that shit to go well. Oh my god. So, I mentioned earlier, like I said, that I've been trying to be a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more confident, and just kind of like a little bit more assertive and just trying to make friends, trying to like interact with people. So I have in the past, I've downloaded the app Meet Me, which is essentially a dating app, but I'm not using it for dating. I'm using it just to kind of, I set my profile to interested in anyone, even though I'm straight. Um, I put it interested to anyone so I could hopefully find some dudes to become friends with, some girls to become friends with, anybody who's on there to try to become friends with, right? So I go on there, and I first off within 3 minutes of me finishing my profile, I get a message from somebody being really nice, and we start talking, and I'm like, I felt like they were a bot because they messaged me like, boom, I wasn't even done with my profile. Like I literally was finishing my profile and they messaged me. So I'm like, this has to be a bot. Turns out they're a real person, trans girl, and go by the name V. And I'm not obviously not going to get into any of her details, but it has been somebody I've been talking to for the past couple of weeks. That's just been really nice. Just actually a cool friend. One person who messaged me, some broad named Cody, just shoot up, hey, hi, come over. I'm all set. It was a conversation. Just, hey, hi, come over. Nah, man, I'm good. So I don't know what that was about. That dude lives fucking in Maine, apparently, according to his profile. And then I had somebody, some dude with a fucking chin strap named Steven. So messaged me, just typed straight up, first thing, 12:10 a.m., right? Are you gay? I'm like, that's one way to start a conversation. And I said, no. Straight, just N-O, no. Right? And then he goes, to me saying no, his response is, so can I send you my naked profile? I had somebody else who's some girl who I don't even know what the hell, I blocked her. I don't even know what her name was. Actually, I posted it to Facebook. So the conversation went like this. The girl's name is Nicole, right? And then I said, are you doing anything else, or are you just smoking? Like, she's playing a game or something like that. She said, mostly just smoking and watching YouTube. I said, fun. Any plans for the weekend? Not really, just the usual. I see you read my profile. And I said, yeah, I check if someone messages me. Is that okay? Because some people, I guess, might be weird, even though it's a public profile. And she said, yeah, of course. Haha. I'll be honest. I think you're cute. You know, like, well, thanks, but don't you have a boyfriend according to your profile? She goes, you're welcome. And yeah, I do. I can keep a secret, though, if you can. I'm like, goodbye. So that's been pretty much all of my interaction. Oh, hey, look. As I'm talking, a message on Meet Me from somebody in New York named Chris. Hey, how's it going? Decent. How are you? Oh, boy. Here we go. Oh, great. Oh, man, he's not vaccinated. And he's interested in men, so this is going to be something interesting. Live Meet Me discussion happening, apparently. The man's response was same. Horny as fuck, to be honest. Oh, great. Here we go. So I'm about to get some dick pics, guys. Here we go. Fuck yeah. Gaming. Oh, man. This is fucking wild, dude. I don't even know what to do about this fucking app, because I'm trying to keep it on there, man. I've talked to 2 cool people on this app, and everybody else has just been an absolute nightmare. So let's go ahead and end off the podcast with a quick update. I'm going to try to keep the updates for the end in case people generally don't care about updates when it comes to the YouTube channel, when it comes to book stuff. So as a quick book update, I have still been plugging away trying to organize and get the actual blueprint for book 3 situated, but I'm having some problems just... I don't really know. I'm having problems finding the motivation to actually start writing. But I want to. It's just like I know as soon as I do actually start writing, and I've been writing. It's just, going from, page 1 and here I go. Time to dedicate the next year and a half of my life to this. I'm having trouble doing that because I know what type of mental dedication it will be. And it's a whole thing. But I also get kind of overwhelmed by the idea of like, man, what's the book going to be called? What's the cover going to look like? I have no idea. How am I just so many things. I'm not going to get too into depth with that, but. And then as far as like YouTube and stuff, I do have plans to do more nostalgia streams. I've streamed King Kong from the PS2 2 times, and I plan on finishing it up. Hopefully one of my days off, I'm just going to bust it out and finish it off. But I have a few other nostalgic games I do want to play on stream, and I will cut them down into videos. King Kong, I'll make into a video itself. I have Digimon World 4, Godzilla Save the Earth, Jack and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy, Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles, The Punisher, The Suffering Ties That Bind, Van Helsing. I got a whole bunch of games, so hopefully you guys might find an interest in that. And I will pretty much just be streaming to YouTube for the foreseeable future. A lot of Twitch's stuff is kind of bullshit, so I do have some money there I need to finish up and claim, but I don't know, man. Twitch just doesn't feel it. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this podcast. I pretty much went over the few things in my mind. I'm gonna try to do better at actually taking notes so I can have stuff to talk about and transition cleanly into things. So this is just a trial. Let's see how this goes. And if you guys like it, cool. Also, at the end of the podcast, there will be a link in the wherever you're listening down below in whatever description for QOOH.com, I believe it's called. And there you can ask me questions and I will answer on the podcast. So feel free to do that. Any questions are acceptable. And if I find them appropriate, I will read them out and I will answer them honestly. So thank you guys for listening. And I will see you all in whatever the next podcast is. Bye-bye.